Hi, my name is Soren. I'm a junior at Apex High, and this is my story. So I moved here from California when I was like 8 months old or something, and we started going Hope when I was 2, and I've been going to Hope ever since. And we go every Sunday morning, like it's kind of like a routine in my family, like it's non-negotiable, like we just go to church. And I remember like the first small group I ever remember being in was like my kindergarten small group, kindergarten and first grade. And when I was 6 years old, we were having small group like in the stairwells at like the Grace Christian School, like before Hope even like had its own building. And we were sitting there, and my small group leader asked, and we had just heard the lesson about like the ABCs, like choosing to follow God and stuff, and I was like, I want to do that. So at 6 years old, I decided to follow Jesus and accept Christ. So since I became a Christian like at 6 years old, I've definitely grown in my faith, like just going to small group every week, like Sunday morning, and then in middle school, like going to Hazardous and stuff. Like that stuff's really helped me grow like as a person and as a Christian. And then like when Pulse started in high school, like going to Pulse every week, like every month, and small groups every week, like just going to those things and being poured into like from other leaders and other students, like that's what's really helped me grow. And then taking that like out into the real world, like at home and at school and stuff, and applying it, like that's what's really helped me grow and develop in my relationship with Christ. So all of those things kind of put together, like going to small group and Pulse, and like small group leaders that are willing to invest in your life, and other like people in your small group, your friends and people at school, like in church from other schools, like all those people that are pouring into your life, and then quiet times and worship and all that stuff, like it helps kind of anchor me in my faith, and that's kind of like what keeps me grounded and stuff. So like being a high school student, like it's easy to just go like day to day, like not even think about God sometimes, and just kind of go through the motions and like forget about him sometimes, and like you feel bad, but I mean it happens, and you just get busy and wrapped up in school and friends and work and extracurriculars and everything, and it's easy to forget. I even think sometimes it's easy to doubt that God even exists and that God's even there. And sometimes like when you see things happen at school and you just don't know how something like that could happen and how God could let something like that happen, you start to question like if God's really there and if he's really looking out for you and stuff like that. Like you just start to wonder if he's really there. So even though I know that bad things happen and you see all these bad things happening around you, like you know that all these things that I mentioned before, like being like going to small group and Pulse and worship and quiet times and stuff, like all those things, like they're there to help bring you back, and like that stuff that laid the foundation, like you can come back to that and remember that they're there for you, and that's what's going to kind of keep you anchored in times like this, like things that are going to help keep you grounded and remember that God is there with you, and you know that God is the truth and that he's always going to be there for you no matter what. I know things are going to get tough, like I know life isn't always easy, but that's why we have to be so anchored in Christ and anchored in our faith, because we know that like it's easy to get tossed within the waves, and just kind of like if you take 2 steps like the wrong way, then you're like off the track, and there's like it's hard to get back. And so that it's at times like these where we need to be the most anchored and most like firm in our faith and know where we stand with God, because yes, things are going to get tough, but if we know that we're with God and we know we have people around us to help us through these things, then we're going to be okay, because we're not perfect as people, but we are in the hands of a perfect God, and he has everything under control, and as long as we're anchored in him, then everything's going to work out okay.